Hello everyone, this is going to be video number 3, and just like video number 2, I have some information on my screen that I will be reading, looking at the screen some of the time, and so once again I hope people don't find it unprofessional, but I just want to get out the information properly so that people can recognize the idea as something that they would like to get behind. I'm going to start this video with what I see as the major problems with the American political system. And obviously there are quite a few, but I'm going to touch on the two that I view as more or less the source of all the others. And those two problems would be communication and accountability. I want to talk about communication first, and got a little stat here. In the United States, there are over 300 million Americans. There are 435 representatives in the U.S. House of Representatives. That means that one congressman represents over 700,000 people. Now, if that one congressman were to listen to every single one of his constituents for just 1 minute each, it would take over a year to hear every single person. Over a year, and I think it's actually closer to a year and a half. So you can see right there that there's a problem with being able to communicate with our representatives. Also, our representatives, they're only elected to 2-year terms, and so by the time that they get done listening to the last person, everyone at the beginning would want to talk to them again. Nothing would get done. It wouldn't make any sense. Up until now, we have had town hall meetings with our representatives if and when they show up to our town. We've had telephone calls, letters, and email. And email is incredibly fast. Email is certainly a good tool, but the problem with email is that it's still one-on-one. And imagine if over 700,000 constituents all decided to write an email to their representative. It would probably take even longer just to open and read and send a reply to every email. So there's a problem here with our system, but the internet also offers a solution. The internet offers speed and convenience that we haven't ever had before. Two people can communicate very quickly, but the same can be said of hundreds of people or even thousands of people. With the internet, we can use forums or message boards, which is what yourreps.com would do, in order to connect people. We can keep up with the large and diverse population of the country. I would also like to add very quickly that society is always much quicker than government. Whereas society can quickly react and change, government is almost always very slow to react and change. We can use the internet to fortify or supplement society, just by allowing everyone to communicate with each other, allowing you to communicate with the people in your town and your county. You can really affect change much more quickly than you would if you were to go through government. The internet will help society to better influence our government. And so clearly, in my opinion, the internet is a tool that we need to help fix the problem of communication. And I would contend that we use the internet not to facilitate emails between individual constituents and representatives, but to bring together entire constituencies and their representatives in real time. So that is what yourreps.com would do, and I think that type of a tool, using the internet this way, would really help us to fix the problem of communication within the American political system. As for accountability, just scrolling down here on my screen. As for accountability, the lack of accountability actually stems from the lack of communication. It is like a vicious feedback loop that favors our elected officials at the expense of the people. We get communication from our elected officials at election time because it's important that they pander for votes. But where's the communication the rest of the time? We see them on TV occasionally. We read an op-ed in the paper occasionally. But for the most part, the status quo is no communication. Actually, we don't have any single location where watchdog and media groups can inform constituencies about what our politicians are doing. Our representatives might swing through town during election season and make a whole bunch of promises, but who can remember back to the election and actually compare the promises of the representative with the results that he or she actually produced? So yourreps.com will be a forum where the people can put forth their wants and their needs, their expectations, and our representatives can easily put forth promises. But yourreps.com is also going to have an archive. Every single constituent, every person who uses the site will be able to go back into the archives and see what their representatives said about all kinds of different issues. It'll be very easy for the people to see which of the representatives keep promises and which ones don't. Lastly, with regards to accountability, the public doesn't like to take time to understand policies and expose the crooked representatives. This is actually because most Americans are simply too busy with their own lives. It's also because politics is purposefully too complex. The people in power make it difficult for the average person to get informed. I would say just think about Obamacare. No one read Obamacare, and it was a massive bill. It's made to be that way. It's made to be too complex. But yourreps.com can fix that also. We will bring people together quickly and efficiently. We will provide constituents with the tools they need to easily understand proposals and bills, everything that's going through the legislature, whether it's at the federal level or on the state level. We will also provide the tools to help them compare and contrast the words and actions of their representatives over the course of the representative's time in office. So as for accountability, you'll be able to really see if your representatives are living up to their promises, which ones are being honest, which ones are actually trying to do what they've told you they'll do. You'll be able to see which of your representatives are actually working to represent you and your fellow constituents. So I hope that any viewer of this video can see why I think that the internet, electronic democracy, and yourreps.com can help to solve a few of the major problems with America's political system. In fact, I think that electronic democracy represents a paradigm shift in the modern political process, which is something that I do believe. This would change everything if we were suddenly using the internet in this fashion. America would never be the same. And I would like to add that America has really led the world for quite some time. We lead the world with culture, technology, enterprise, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be using the internet to fix our messed up political system and then sort of show the world that this is how you do it. This is how you go about giving power back to the people. So that's video number 3. I think I'll be doing video number 4 sometime soon, and just continue to explain the idea, hopefully just to pound the idea home to anyone who isn't quite sure of what yourreps.com would consist of. So thanks for listening once again.